This is the Overdue Homework Podcast.
Welcome to the show. That's Trav. I'm Drew.
And I'm Trav.
This is the Overdue Homework Podcast, and of course, it is our mission to give you our opinions on 80s and 90s media. Do not forget to contact us at podcast@overduehomework.com. Trav, how are you doing?
Really good, Drew.
Good. Glad to hear it.
I survived Christmas.
Me too.
And yeah, back to reality,
Oops, there goes gravity.
which I enjoy. How are you doing, Drew?
Doing really good. Christmas was really fun. Lots and lots of kid stuff going. Cameron had a great first Christmas. He's almost 2, so it was like his first Christmas to like kind of understand what's going on and like actually rip open presents and stuff. But once we got him started ripping open presents, he would not stop. So everybody's presents were fair game for the rest of Christmas at both sides. So
Sure.
it was funny. It was cool. You know, Cameron had a really good time, and so did Evelyn too. They both got everything that they wanted. A couple of spoiled little kids, if you ask me. I never got that much stuff when I was a kid.
Right. What's the coolest thing you got each of them?
The coolest thing that we got Evelyn was not a new iPad, a new tablet. We got her a new tablet that has not only Wi-Fi connectivity but also a 5G connection, so she can use it on the run. And I was a little worried because we weren't quite sure if she understood. Like, Cameron was getting large gifts, and Evelyn didn't get a lot of large gifts, but her gifts were more expensive, obviously.
Yeah.
And she still really loved it. It wasn't even a thing at all.
Sure.
I was wondering if she was going to be like, oh, but everything's so small and stuff, but she figured it out. She understands that the tablet is an expensive gift. So.
Right.
And then Cameron, my parents also got Evelyn a keyboard, so that's pretty cool. She's going to start taking piano lessons, so that's going to be a lot of fun. She was really excited about that. Cameron, let's see. What was the best thing that we got Cameron? The best thing we got Cameron. The best thing that Mom and Dad got Cameron was this basically Little Tykes Hot Wheels set where it has like these Hot Wheels that can go down 3 different ramps. One's like a corkscrew ramp. One of them's just like a straight down ramp that goes down and goes really fast, and one of them's like a sideways corkscrew type of ramp. And
nice.
we were unsure if he was going to understand like how to play with it, but he loves it. He plays with it all the time. So
nice.
it was really, really good. Grandma and Grandpa got him a really cool like one of those little toy things that you can kind of ride around on and stuff.
Sure.
The other side got him a scooter, his first scooter.
Nice.
So he stands on it. It's a 3-wheeled scooter, so he won't just fall over on it. But he stands on it and then has people push him around on it.
Nice.
He stands on it and goes, go.
Yeah.
Like, okay, Cameron.
Where is my service here? Go.
Okay, Cameron, we'll go. We'll go.
So this summer's going to be lit.
It's going to be awesome, Trav.
Because you got her a bike last
We got her a bike last Christmas, yes.
Nice.
So, and she loves that bike. She got a basket for that bike. She wanted a basket, and so
nice.
She got a basket from her aunt
keep
and
her
uncle.
tablet in her basket and take that over to her friend's house.
I think I may say, don't put the tablet in the basket. She has a habit of falling off her bikes.
That would be a good idea, then. That'd be a good idea.
She did get to pick out a case. We didn't do a case. The guy at Verizon was like, you want to get a case for this too, right? And I'm like, yes. I'm not going to spend $150 on a case at Verizon. I didn't say that.
Right.
We're going to wait and let her pick one out. And so that's what we did. So it's coming from China, and it was like, it'll be here in free shipping.
So I expected in 3 to 6 months.
Pretty much. It shipped. So it's on a boat somewhere in the middle of the ocean.
Nice.
It'll be here eventually.
Nice.
It'll be here eventually. What was the best thing you got for Christmas, Trav?
I got some pretty cool stuff.
Nice.
So I don't know if you've ever heard of the brand RSVLT. It's some brand that makes cool button-up shirts, like the nostalgic type ones I pick. And she got me a Nightmare Before Christmas one,
cool.
Purple one. I don't have any purple ones. It's a $70 shirt.
Nice.
I don't spend $70 on shirts.
No, me neither.
So that was really cool.
Nice.
And she got me Street Fighter on Blu-ray.
Cool.
Liar Liar on Blu-ray.
Nice.
And The Boys seasons 1 through 3 on Blu-ray.
Nice. Yeah.
Pretty sweet.
I got some Legos. Got a Ferrari F40 Lego.
Nice. Already built.
Yep, already built. And then Shadow from Sonic the Hedgehog. Got that
Nice.
from my mother and father-in-law. Those are my best gifts.
Nice.
Kristen and I don't really exchange gifts.
Yeah.
We get each other some little things. Like I got her this expensive cream that she wants for her face. That's what I got her for Christmas.
Nice.
She said, "This is what I want," and I said, "Okay, that's what I'll get you."
That's what I'll get you.
Yeah. So I mean, we don't really exchange gifts. Concentrate on the kiddos is what we go
Right,
for.
right.
Concentrate on the
Makes
kiddos.
sense.
It
Our
does.
dog was very spoiled.
That's great.
Yeah.
I didn't even ask.
3 boxes of toys and treats.
Dougie making out like a bandit.
Oh yeah, he's loving it.
Douglas the Frenchie.
Douglas.
Follow him on Instagram. Okay, Trav, with that out of the way, I did use one article from IMDb Trivia. That link is in the show notes. And then I'm also going to link 3 videos, maybe a 4th video. We'll see if I get to it, if I remember to do it. But 2 videos, one of Nathan Lane and one of Christopher Walken, both being interviewed for Mouse Hunt, which the Walken one is hilarious because it's Christopher Walken.
Obviously.
And then also a 3rd video for sure, which is some stand-up from Lee Evans. And Lee Evans played Lars, obviously, in Mouse Hunt. I had no idea he was a stand-up comedian. I had no idea he was British because this movie was homework for me.
Yeah.
So his stand-up, we watched a little bit of it. It's rather blue. It's very British.
Yeah.
So I'd recommend go out there, click that link, and check that out. So go out there, podcast people, and check out some Lee Evans comedy because I didn't know he was a comedian. So it's a whole new venue for comedy for me that I'm going to check out. He was funny. We were laughing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Trav, should we get to that homework review?
Probably.
All right, let's do it. Of course, we are doing Mouse Hunt from 1997. Directed by Gore Verbinski. He's most famous for the 3 Pirates of the Caribbean movies that he directed.
Okay.
This is also his first feature-length film that he did.
Nice.
And he's got a good eye for film, if you ask me.
Obviously.
I think he really does. Written by Adam Rifkin, produced by Bruce Cohen, Tony Ludwig, and Alan Rich. The film's producers originally requested Danny Elfman to do the score, but he
Nice.
turned it down. Elfman was like, "No thanks, man, I don't want to." Instead, Elvin Silvestri, he did the music. He did all 3 movies for Back to the Future. He did Predator,
Hey.
Forrest Gump, and 1993's Super Mario Brothers movie. So he's got a little panache.
Nice.
A little panache. Of course, Mouse Hunt is starring Nathan Lane as Ernie Smuntz, Lee Evans as Lars Smuntz, Maury Chicane as Alexander Felko, Christopher Walken as Cesar, Vicki Lewis as April Smuntz, William Hickey, as Rudolph Smuntz. It was released December 19th, 1997 in the United States. It had a budget of $38 million. It had a box office of $125.4 million, and that's $242.4 million in 2024. Way to go for way to go for a family movie.
Yeah, definitely.
So the script was originally offered to 20th Century Fox and Disney. Both studios got into a bidding war over the film rights. Late into the war came a third bidder, Jeffrey Katzenberg at DreamWorks, who ended up producing the film. Katzenberg, who was just recently let go by Disney after a bitter falling out with Michael Eisner, who was the CEO of Disney at the time, saw an opportunity to get back at his former employer by getting into the bidding war. Ultimately, DreamWorks emerged victorious.
Nice.
So that's why there's that kind of couple of little Disney jokes in the movie, especially at the very end, where he's like, "We'll have a mouse as a mascot. It's worked out pretty well for some other people."
Yeah.
Ba-da-dum. All right, Trav, why don't we get over to that breakdown?
Let's break it out.
I'm going to get a little sipple here. So our movie opens up with a title card. A world without string is chaos. Chaos. Rudolph Smuntz. Rudolph is dead, by the way, and he's in the sewer. It's absolutely hilarious. He goes flying through the air. Nothing but net into that sewer. Just foomp, right in there.
Yeah, he's in the harbor now, bub.
Yeah, see you later. So actor William Hickey, Ralph Smuntz, was seriously ill during the film's production and died toward the end of principal photography. Fortunately, all his scenes had already been filmed, so it was not necessary to recast his part or make any major changes to the script to accommodate his death. It was William Hickey's last film, obviously, and it's dedicated to him at the end of the movie if you watch the credits.
Yep.
And you recognize him, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, from most famously, probably for our listeners, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yep. Okay. I actually just watched that for the first time since I was a kid this holiday season. It's amazing, obviously. And I recognized him right away.
Right away.
Yep.
That movie is funnier every year I get older.
Yeah.
Every year I get older. I laughed at it when I was in my teens, laughed at it in my 20s, and now being on the other side of life with my family, it's like, okay, this is very funny.
Right.
So we move over to the string factory, and things are going haywire immediately. The assembly line is all backed up, and Ernie and Lars are learning what they have inherited from their father. It includes things like cigars, a half-smoked box of cigars,
Yep.
ceramic egg, ooh, a ceramic egg,
Yes.
and spoons, lots and lots of spoons.
Cool.
What are they going to do with all those spoons?
Lots of cereal.
And, of course, the factory, the future of string itself. Ernie and Lars, they're supposed to run that factory together. Ernie obviously wants to sell. Doesn't want anything to do with the factory. Lars does not, because some things are more important than money. Notice it's always the financially challenged that say that.
Yes,
Thanks,
it is.
Ernie.
What a legacy.
There is one last thing, though. That house. There is a house. The previous owner of that house was found locked in a trunk in the attic. It's worth $50,000, just like everything else in every other 90s movie. Everything is worth $50,000 in the 90s and 80s movies. That ceramic egg, though, does not last very long. Lars puts his thumb right into that thing and smashes it on the floor.
Yep.
See you later, ceramic egg. Is a ceramic egg worth anything?
I mean, not that one.
Not that one.
I don't think so.
We flash over to Ernie's restaurant, and he's got a date with the mayor. Ernie is both the maitre d' and the head chef of that restaurant.
Makes sense.
Makes perfect sense. Bad news, though, for everybody involved in that dinner. There was a giant, juicy cockroach in that cigar box. The mayor, he's there just to eat. That's all he's there, and it's to eat a cockroach. A giant, gross cockroach.
Yeah.
Crunchy. I love the almonds. Did you love that CG cockroach?
I mean, it's decent.
It's decent.
Yeah.
The CG stuff in these movies from the mid to late 90s, it sticks out horribly.
For sure.
It really does. Even the fork is CG. Like, they couldn't put a real fork and do the thing on, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And it just comes, like, disembodied out of the bottom of the frame.
Right.
Nobody's holding on to it. But it's okay. It was still very, very, very funny. Very,
Yeah.
very funny. And it is the end of the mayor, and it is the end of Ernie and his restaurant. The mayor's dead, right? I mean, they were giving him the paddles and the...
Definitely.
He's dead.
He's dead.
He's dead. And his twin daughters, don't seem to care at all.
No.
He's getting jolted back to life in the back of an ambulance, and they're running around playing
with the caution tape.
Caution
Like, okay, I guess.
Oh, my gosh.
But we're back at the string shop. Lars gets an offer from Zepco International.
The mob.
The mob.
The mob.
The mob.
They don't say it overtly, but it's got to be the mob, right? They want to switch over to cord, not string. Twine is yesterday.
Yep.
Single strand cord is today. Lars, he can't sell the factory because of that piece of string in his pocket. His dying father gave it to him. It was his most prized possession.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a piece of string.
Yeah, that's all it is.
That string, his father found it on his first day in America and kept it in his pocket for 50 years.
All right.
He just saw a piece of string on the ground and was like, I'm going to put that in my pocket. That's what I found.
And that's what my job and occupation is to be for the rest of my life. Inspiration.
Promise me you'll never sell Smunt's string. Keep it in the family. Lars, he obviously had to pass on the sale because a world without string is chaos.
Yeah.
Lars, his wife, April, I'm not a fan of hers, and
No.
she's obviously supposed to be like kind of a secondary villain in the movie.
Right.
She seems like a real swell gal. She was in the relationship for the money. That's it.
Obviously.
April, please don't go.
I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, Lars gets kicked out because he refused to sell the
Yep.
factory, and she was a gold digger. She ain't messing with no broke Lars. And Lars, he just decides to head to dinner after he gets kicked out, and he happens to go to a diner where Ernie is the chef.
Yeah.
Didn't this all happen? Like, didn't the mayor die and Lars get kicked out in the same night? And Ernie's already working a shift at a diner?
It seems that way.
It seems that way.
He's immediately got another job. Why'd you leave your last job?
You saw the whole cockroach thing on TV, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
They leave the diner together after Lars refuses his grilled cheese with capers.
Yeah.
I've never had a grilled cheese with capers.
Nope.
Who would want a grilled cheese without capers? It's just bread and cheese. I don't want capers on my
Somebody
grill.
who orders a grilled cheese.
They're both extremely down on their luck. They have nowhere to go. Ernie, ever the pessimist, says, "You think so small, Lars. Look at the bigger picture. You have no home, you have no wife, you have no money, you have no discernible talent. How can you ignore that?
Ernie, it's Christmas. Instead of dwelling on what we don't have, we should be thankful for what we do have.
And at least they have that house.
Hey.
They see a cake in a window with an exact replica of the house that they're going to go into.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
So let's go to the house. We get that POV shot from the mouse, right? That's the first, it's almost like Jason Voorhees is watching them a little bit in that shot. I'm guessing that it was purposefully set to kind of make you feel like you're watching a horror flick right at the beginning. A little bit, just a little bit. Something is watching them. It is the mouse. The house is huge, cold, and spooky. There is one bed, so they're going to flip for it.
Yeah.
And that coin lands on the edge. Is this The Matrix? Did The Matrix steal this from this movie?
It could be. This came out 2 years prior.
So they share the bed. Because why not?
In all seriousness, there's no way you would sleep on that bed.
No.
Obviously.
I would go back and sleep in the car.
I would
Honestly.
sleep in the car, yeah. This bed has been sitting there for God knows how long, and you're just going to hop in there and use the blankets already there.
Yep.
And that pillow, no thanks.
Well, they're probably covered in poop.
Probably covered in poop.
More than likely. There's a scratching in the night, kind of spooky. Ooh. So the brothers, they go to investigate. The slapstick moth bit is kind of funny. There's a lot of moths in that box full of mothballs. He looks at it, it smells like mothballs. And he opens it up and there's moths in it. Aren't mothballs supposed to keep moths out of stuff? Whatever. Tons of moths. They go flying through the hole in the ceiling, all that fun stuff. And Ernie gets smacked into a painting, and he ends up having his face jammed into the painting. Very Looney Tunes-esque.
Yep.
It's not the last time there's going to be a Looney Tunes gag. You've
Definitely
seen that
not.
a million times. Laurel and Hardy-esque, all that type of fun stuff. The scratching, it continues. So Lars lifts Ernie to reach what may be the cause of the scratching. It's a jack-in-the-box in the window. Who put that up there?
Seriously.
Ernie gets his head smashed through a ceiling where he finds a mouse and some rolled up posters or papers, as Ernie says it. It's just a mouse. And the rolled up papers, they're blueprints.
Yep.
They are blueprints. The house was designed by Charles Lyell LaRue. So when they find out that it's Charles Lyell LaRue, that dude's name gets pronounced like a couple of different ways, like right away here. And some people are saying Charles LaRue. Some people are saying Charles Lyell LaRue.
Right.
And it's just kind of weird to me, but it's all right. Turns out Charles, he was a big deal. The house is worth tons of money, like $600,000. Enter Mr. Falco.
Yep.
He wants to buy the house. He already owns 42 of LaRue's houses. Ernie, being the shrewd businessman that he is, he won't accept any offers right now, and he wants to have an auction. They could make $700,000 to $800,000 easy. So they're gonna have an auction in a week. Falco, he thinks you two are smarter than you look.
Thank you.
That's a very funny bit when they both say thank you at the exact same time. But Falco, he's never paid more than $10 million for a house in his life. Well, that's a stunner for our brothers in this movie.
Yeah.
They were not expecting $10 million. So later that night, it's time to make plans for all the money that they don't have, as one does when they think you're going to have a whole bunch of money. Let's make plans for all this money that we're not going to have, basically.
Yeah.
And we get a great POV shot of the mouse running through the walls. It's his house, and he has to defend it. I love those shots of the mouse running through the walls.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great bit of cinema. I absolutely love that every time it happens. The brothers, they see the mouse, so they decide to set a trap. Later that night, we get a snap. Snap.
I love, too, in that scene that Ernie's talking about the house and that guy comes in. He asks him how much it would sell for, and then he portrays it like that's his knowledge to the guy.
Yes,
like,
he does.
I mean, he went for 6, and that was without this molding. And it's like, oh, you're a LaRue connoisseur. Yeah, what can I say? Come on, Ernie. You're not fooling anyone. But the next morning, they did not get the mouse.
He snapped the trap, ate the olive, and left the pit to mock us.
To mock us. Mice do not mock. This mouse does mock, however.
He does.
He does.
He does.
Oh, yeah, I love that line. He's in the cereal.
Which is hideous.
Which is hideous. Which that cereal was left there, correct?
I would assume so.
That's what you got out of it.
They didn't come with groceries.
They didn't come with groceries, but somehow they have fresh orange juice.
Yep.
And sure, okay, whatever.
And a refrigerator that probably should have been very nasty, I would assume.
It should have been very nasty or turned off by, like, the electricity should have been turned off by this point. But so here comes the slapstick mouse chase. Compliment with hand slamming fun.
I love that.
With the meat pounder or whatever.
And then Lars like picks up his hand and starts blowing on it. Like that's gonna do anything. Every bone in Ernie's hand has been completely shattered.
So as you would assume with these jokers, the mouse escapes into the wall.
Yes, he does.
Get me my Gouda.
Get me my Gouda.
That line gets Lauren every time. He just got fired.
Yep.
And somehow he has this big wheel of Gouda.
Big wheel of Gouda.
But we didn't see him bring it in.
Lane delivers that line so hilariously because he's so serious.
He's so serious. Yeah, get me my Gouda. So they set the trap again, and the mouse absconds with the rest of the wheel of cheese. That takes care of that.
I love how it's just running away with the cheese. And as it's going out the door, I don't understand how they didn't see the mouse on the wheel of cheese. But
Didn't
that's
see it. And then the mouse eats the entire wheel of Gouda cheese.
Yes.
And he's no bigger.
Nope.
He's no bigger, but it's fine.
It.
Time to work on the house, and time for the mouse to start messing with the brothers.
About time.
More wall travel by the mouse, of course, and he tucks himself into bed.
Adorable.
I love that scene.
It's adorable.
It's adorable. He's like laying on some cotton, and he's got a little dryer sheet that he covers up with. The mouse has decorated his home.
Yep.
He's got like a picture of a woman on a beach or whatever.
In Hawaii. Yep.
And there's no time for sleep, though, because it's time for a nail.
Yeah, which is just all of a sudden he's just hammering like an old hammer dog in there.
Suspenseful nail chase. Didn't see that one coming.
No.
Fun stuff.
It was fun.
But it doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, I know the brother's dumb.
Yes.
Clearly.
Yes.
But why is he pounding so many nails into
It's a very good question. And like clusters of like 5 or 6 nails.
Just king every inch, and then he pops those 6 all in a row. It doesn't make any sense.
Not one bit.
And is this untreated, non-matching, non-stained wood actually going to increase the value of the house?
No.
I don't think so.
They're going to stain it
Certainly
on the wall.
not when they see how he nailed it in there either. But
what's with all the nails?
Whatever. Just as you think it's going to be curtains for that little guy, though, Lars gets interrupted and drops what he's doing to go help Ernie.
Mid-hammer swing. He's like,
swing.
Okay, I'll stop and put down the hammer.
Yeah, I won't finish this one nail sticking in it, but whatever. While close-ups use an animatronic rodent and some scenes involve CGI, most shots were made using a team of 60 field mice trained by animal trainer Boone Nar.
What a name.
The mice were trained for everything from running and climbing to sleeping in a sardine can underneath a tissue paper blanket.
So that's right. That scene where the mouse gets underneath the tissue paper blanket, or it looks like a dryer sheet. I thought it was a dryer sheet too. That is a real mouse doing that.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
That is super amazing.
That's amazing.
They move in the jacuzzi tub.
Yep.
$1,200 jacuzzi tub.
You have to spend money to make money. Plus, they threw in a cardboard lady.
That's one of my favorite lines. How much did you pay for that? Got it for a steal. $1,200.
$1,200.
Like, what? That is not a steal, but all right. Well, that little mouse scares Ernie and the brothers. Both of them end up in the tub and slide down the stairs and they go out the door because they leave the door open every single time they come into this house for some reason. And they end up at the bottom of the lake.
Dead.
Yikes. Probably dead.
Probably very dead.
It's winter, but sure. Nope, back in the house, and they're setting up hundreds of mouse traps. This is going to end well.
Hopelessly funny, though, right? This scene is... I love this scene. It's hilarious to me.
You know exactly what's going to happen, but it works every time.
It works every time.
Just like a Looney Tunes cartoon.
Yep.
The mousetrap scene was completed without any digital effects. Over 800 mousetraps were set individually and rigged with wires under the floor. It took several takes, so each trap had to be reset, baited, and wired one at a time.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Yikes. But I love this scene because
absolutely.
Again, Ernie is so confident and smart that he can outsmart this mouse.
Yep.
And he's got all this cheese, and the Lars is like, I thought he wanted cheese. No, not in the morning. They need fruit for energy.
Need fruit
like
for
he's a
energy.
pro all of a sudden at mouse diet. Like, okay, sure, whatever. They ended up having to spend the night in the kitchen because they kind of painted themselves in a corner, so to speak.
Yep.
He locks himself in there like a moron. But then our little mouse buddy appears. He makes his way definitely across the kitchen, climbing and crawling, leaping even.
Indiana Jones style on that pole chain on that light. Gotta love that.
Love that. That was good. That was a trained mouse as well. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Even the brothers admire what the mouse is doing. He's going for the cherries. I thought you said mice like Gouda. Not in the morning. Cheese tires them out. They need fruit for energy.
He's so confident in his answer.
So confident. He's just a pro. The cherry sets everything off, and the mouse leaves with the cheese and olives, being chased by Ernie and Lars with the vacuum.
Yep.
And, I noticed something. I've seen this movie probably 100+ times.
Yeah.
This is one of the only movies I've seen that Drew is not. But I did
Homework.
notice something I've either never caught or never paid attention. When they start chasing him with the vacuum, they run under the setup ladder. Bad luck.
Bad luck. I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
noticed
very
that in that chase scene. I was
that's
like,
a good detail.
That's pretty funny.
That's
that
a good
they run through
detail.
that. The brothers get a hold of something in the wall with the vacuum. They think it's the mouse.
They think
this
it
tiny
is.
little mouse.
Yep.
And then they just keep on
Just
sucking.
Keep on.
Keep on sucking. They're laughing. They're thinking they're so smart. But it was not the mouse. It was actually a sewage line. That mouse stinks.
What Lars swears in this. What does he say? He swears. I noticed it on my watch today. Before he says that mouse stinks, he's like, "Man, I wish I could remember." But he
Can't
swears under his breath. I'm like, really? Like in this kid's
in
movie?
this PG movie.
Yeah.
The mouse stinks. He says they always do or something like that. Lars and Ernie end up covered in sewage
That's not great.
and get notice of the house being foreclosed on. And guess what they owe the bank? $1,200.
The cost of the
The
tub.
cost of the show. 1 week from 5 days ago. So 2 days? That seems weird that they're allowed to do that. Just
Right.
slap that on the door, but okay. Where are they going to get all the money? Who knows?
Who knows?
So what do? They decide to go get a cat instead. To deal with the mouse.
They get a cat from an oddly futuristic-looking pet shelter, correct?
Yeah.
And you notice the guy running the pet shelter is the guy that plays Pumbaa, right? In The Lion King. So it's Timon and Pumbaa
That's hilarious.
Reuniting in this movie. So what year is this movie supposed to take place in, Trav? Do you have any idea what year this? Because you can't really tell.
No.
Because it's like a blending of technologies, right?
Yeah.
So this movie is part of a small number of family or children's films to be released in the late 90s and early 2000s that was deliberately set in a vague time period that mixes clothes, hair, cars, and technology from different parts of the 20th century, like The Borrowers in 1997, Stuart Little in 1999, and a series of unfortunate events in 2004, all feature the same design choice as well.
Nice.
So it's kind of a thing in Hollywood to do this weird mixing of decades, kind of.
Right.
Because you would think it's like the 1930s or 1940s, and all of a sudden they're in this futuristic, weirdly dystopian animal shelter.
Yeah.
Very
Doesn't
weird.
make any sense, but sure.
Sure.
So they're in this shelter and they're looking for an older cat, a cat with experience. They need a ferocious feline, one with a history of mental illness. He's talking one mean pussy.
Yeah, that's a vagina joke.
That's a vagina joke. Yikes. They're in luck. They have the perfect cat for Lars and Ernie.
Great.
As a matter of fact, they were about to gas this particular cat again.
Again?
It's Catzilla! Lars calls the cat a little bastard.
And they take him home.
And they take him home.
Because this is a kid's movie.
Right.
You can get away with a few bastards in the night.
Yeah.
In a kid's movie.
Back at home, and the cat busts partially out of the box, just the legs.
It looks terrible.
Looks terrible.
It looks really bad.
This is the really bad CGI part of the movie.
It just looks really bad because it's like that cat. It's like physically impossible for the cat to do that in that box. Like,
obviously.
if you get over the fact that it busted its legs out, like it just doesn't. It doesn't fit.
The legs would have to be bottom, like Flintstone style, if you're gonna believe that this could work somehow. But yeah,
I'll give them
straight out, and then
Yeah.
it's like they grow twice the length to be able to even do that.
I'll give him props for doing the scene because it is well executed. It just doesn't look that great.
Yeah,
That's
as soon
all.
as he's out of the box, it's hilarious.
It is
but
very funny.
It's distracting in the $200. Like, okay, you can get away with a little half a cockroach, but
not a cat.
Catzilla's not really
Catzilla's not working
too
out.
great. But it's Tom and Jerry time, and who doesn't love Tom and Jerry?
Nobody.
Another fun to watch, kid-safe action sequence.
Absolutely.
Fighting the piano, very Tom and Jerry.
Very Tom and
Very
Jerry.
Tom and Jerry. And then chase under the carpet.
Very Tom and
Tom and Jerry.
Yes. Lars and Ernie, they leave to get the $1,200 by not paying the workers at the string factory. That's going to go over really well with those people.
That should go great. Can you imagine $1,200 was enough for all of these people's compensation?
I guess.
I guess. Not a lot of money in the string factory.
Nope.
But sure. Ernie discovers the offers from Zepco while he's in his dad's old office, and the portrait of their father is changing expression.
Do you like that part of this movie? The fact that Ernie's and Lars's father's his expressions, they keep flashing to that portrait, and depending on what's going on in the film, he either looks pissed or concerned or happy at the end of the movie. Do you like that weird supernatural insertion into this movie?
I don't think it's necessary.
No, it's not
like,
necessary.
Like you said, the very beginning maybe sets it up as this supposed to be spooky, but
Right.
you realize fast that it's not.
No.
But then they do weird things like that.
It reminds me of the portrait in Ghostbusters 2. Does it not?
Yep.
That's what it reminds me of,
Yep.
at least.
Which this was after that. Right?
Yes, correct.
Far
Correct.
after that.
Yes.
Lars and Ernie have to escape the workers because obviously they be pissed. Like, where's my $1,200 split 70 ways? But they're going to have to find the money somewhere else in Lars's car, and Ernie brings up selling the factory. Lars plays dumb. Who would be stupid enough to buy the factory? Their old man didn't want them to sell it anyway. But now we're back to Catzilla in the house, and they further destroy the house, paint on the stairs, and the cat is killed in the dumbwaiter.
Yeah, just they'd never revisit that cat. There's a little meow at the end to make you think maybe it's not dead, but that cat's probably dead.
He's dead.
He's very dead.
So it's time for Lars and Ernie to call in the big guns and the best section of the movie.
I love Walken in this part. It could not have been played any better by any other actor.
Yeah,
It's just, Caesar is the best.
Yeah.
Love Caesar.
He knows the mouse is watching, and he needs the brothers to play dumb. Yeah, mice.
He's good.
Yeah, you got asbestos, all right. Shouldn't take more than a day or two to remove it. Here's your problem. Normal people are not psychologically equipped to catch mice. You have to get in their mind, understand what they want, need.
Well, you're the expert.
You have to think like a mouse. To that mouse, you are the intruder.
Well done, Trav. That is a great impression of Christopher Walken. Well done.
At the factory, and Lars is going to try to make $1,200 worth of string.
So that would be a lot of string.
That'd be a
lot of string.
like-
Because if they're paying these people like $1 or $2 a week,
Yeah,
$1,200 worth of string would be so much string.
it takes like 70 employees to produce that much string, but sure, Lars is going to give it a shot by himself. Yeah, it does not work out well for him.
No.
But it's a great bit of physical comedy.
It is.
More and more of his clothing ends up being sucked in by the machine, and he just he ends up nude.
He does end up nude. So over to Caesar, and he is on the hunt. He finds some evidence. He finds those rat turds, and he eats one.
He eats one.
He does eat one. He even he does like a little like kind of wincy wink type of thing when he eats it. Like it was almost like he had to eat it as
Right.
opposed to wanting to
Like
eat
this
it.
is part of the process.
So now we're with Ernie. John Lithgow turned down the role of Ernie Smuntz due to scheduling conflicts with Third Rock from the Sun. Did you watch Third Rock from the Sun?
I sure did.
That is a classic.
Really good show.
Oh my gosh,
I
that
watched
movie's
it
so good. That
back
show
when
is
it
so
was
good.
on, and then I had Lauren watch it with me. It's 4 seasons.
Yeah,
I think.
something
it's
like that.
really good.
It's-
I mean, I love John Lithgow
Yeah.
and pretty much everybody in that
Yeah,
show.
absolutely.
But
Whatever happened to French Stewart?
I don't know.
He was in the 4th Home Alone movie as one of the bad guys.
Never saw that.
Maybe the 3rd Home Alone movie. He's
Must
one of the
have been
bad
the
guys.
third.
Yeah, one of the bad guys in the 3rd Home Alone movie, and then French Stewart disappeared.
Yeah.
Disappeared. Bye, French.
See a French.
Ernie, he calls Zepco. They decided to reconsider the offer on the factory. But before Ernie can meet with the reps from Zepco, he gets distracted by some ladies and then hit by a car.
No deal with Zepco, and Ernie is dead. End of movie.
End of movie. Lars's estranged wife learns of the auction thanks to that lawyer. I don't know why he's over there to begin with.
Yeah.
You're Mrs. Lars Smuntz, right? Well, technically, I guess.
Yeah.
Then finds Lars at the factory and bangs him because she wants the money. That's a sexy scene for a family movie.
Yeah.
It's a little sexy.
It is. It is.
Back with Caesar with the Squeak Seeker 2000. Best name of a gadget in any movie ever.
Oh, yeah.
Squeak Seeker 2000. Our mouse buddy takes the camera and he weaves it through the house all the way back to Caesar's van. And Caesar gets dragged through the house and out to the van. What a great bit. Hilarious. Walken is so funny in this bit. No. When he's getting dragged face first through the floor.
Just step after step. Hilarious.
He ends up with a turd on his chin, too. I'm surprised he didn't. He should have been like... Just licked it up off of his chin. That would have been pretty funny. Ernie is not dead. He's in the hospital with our ladies from the park. They're Belgian hair models because that is a thing.
Yes.
I love how the doctor asks, "Are you family?" "Yes, we're sisters." No, okay. Very, very funny. Very funny.
Ernie is realizing that he missed out on the deal with Zepco, and Lars shows up in April's overcoat. She gave Lars the $1,200.
Yeah, she did because she banged him.
Yeah.
And then she gave him money.
Yeah,
Great, because she sees more money in the future.
Right.
Possibly. Still in the overcoat, the brothers... Lars is still in the overcoat, April's overcoat, and the brothers head back to the house. Things are looking up. Lars is back with April. They made love in a way that he's only seen in nature films. This is a kid's movie, right? Okay. And Ernie will be back, will be able to open up another restaurant. And Caesar's truck passes them on the road on a flatbed or by a tow truck, and that's not good.
That ain't good.
Caesar is being taken away on a stretcher. Did you kill the mouse?
Was that horse finished? I want to eat it.
And then he's just like,
It looks like he's eating like a fly strip or whatever.
Something. I couldn't figure out what he was eating.
I don't know what that is.
He was eating something. Caesar was locked in the trunk. That's where the police found him.
Yeah.
That's where they found him.
It smells, man. It smells, I'm telling you.
With the house destroyed, the brothers find Caesar's recorder. And it's a recording of the mouse locking Caesar in the trunk.
That tickles.
Lars and Ernie aren't dealing with an ordinary mouse. I mean, you should have figured that out by now.
Yeah.
They find the mouse in the kitchen. He had made himself a sandwich, a yummy, yummy sandwich covered in rat turds. Ernie, trying to get the mouse, ends up stuck in the chimney. That's not good for Ernie, especially since the mouse lets loose the gas supply and offers Lars some fresh matches. And that's not going to be good.
No.
It smells like gas. Lars strikes that match.
And Ernie goes flying 1,000 feet in the air, landing in the lake, and then in the bathtub with his cardboard lady friend.
And dies again.
And dies again. He's dead again.
Third time this movie.
He is Catzilla. He has 9 lives.
Well, that is the last straw for our brother, so it's time to get that mouse. So Ernie grabs a gun and just starts blasting.
They're not trying to sell this house. That's fine.
I'm going to blow his furry little head off. Lars does try to talk Ernie down. It's going to affect the value, blowing holes all over the house here. But ultimately, he tells Ernie to shoot that mouse. He sees the mouse, turns around, plugs his ears, and screams, "Fire!" House be damned. They don't care about the money anymore. No. As a matter of fact, they blow a giant hole in the floor after shooting that bug bomb.
God, I hate that mouse.
That is a great scene. And I couldn't tell if that was a practical effect or if it was a digital effect.
Yeah.
I think it might have been a combination of both, but I love that shot from overhead when the floor just gets that like crackled, burnt look and then they just fall through. For some reason, I just love that shot.
And I assume, like I said way back on our very first episode, this movie reminds you a little bit of Home Alone.
Oh, absolutely.
The gas.
Yes.
I mean, kerosene, ropes on it, and then the big hole in the living room floor. Love it.
Yes, this is definitely taking a Home Alone formula and presenting it in what? So Home Alone came out in 1992, 1991.
Yep.
So 6 years later, they're presenting Home Alone again to the masses
right.
because it was such a success.
Right.
It makes total sense, and that's exactly what they were going for.
It
does totally work. The phone rings, and it's the dudes from Zepco. They are offended. The proposal has been withdrawn.
Yep.
And the cat is out of the bag. Ernie went behind Lars's back to sell the factory. Naughty, naughty Ernie. This brings the issues in the relationship to a head in the movie. Lars has felt forced into running the factory, and Ernie feels left out of the relationship that Lars had with his father. So brothers being brothers, you know, that type of thing. Lars is so pissed, he throws an orange at his brother. That's how he's orange throwing pissed. Yeah. That's how pissed he is.
Yeah.
Hitting the mouse instead of Ernie.
Think of all the trouble we could have saved ourselves if we just threw a fruit at him.
That's an underrated funny line for me in this whole movie. Neither of them can muster the strength to actually kill the mouse. He looks so pathetic.
Pathetic? He's like Hitler if he were a mouse.
That's a Hitler joke.
That's a Hitler joke in a kid's movie.
So they mail the mouse off to Cuba, care of Fidel Castro, because that works.
Yeah.
Just send it to Cuba.
Hasta la vista, you rat bastard.
It's the second bastard. And now the brothers reunited. They get to work. They have 2 days until the auction, and they make repairs on the house, which is just like basically just throwing some plywood down and covering everything up.
There is no fixing those steps that Caesar got crashed through. There's no way.
They managed to do it, though.
They did it somehow, but no one knows how.
Oh, that mouse, he makes it to Cuba, but the package is short postage, so return to sender.
Return to sender.
I love how everybody in the Cuban post office is smoking cigars.
Yeah.
Everybody's smoking giant Cuban cigars.
No big deal with the mail right there.
No big deal. Anyways, it's auction time. They finally made it. It wasn't easy, and it's finally time for their payday. The hair models, they arrive, and Mr. Falco is there as well. He loves maraschino cherries. He's just stem and all. Stem and all.
Yeah, what the hell are you doing? He also tries to buy the house out from the rest of the potential bidders. $10 million.
$10 million.
10 millions. That's what he says. 10 millions.
10 millions. Ernie, he declines the offer. Little smug lead to that. It would be really hard for me not to just be like, yes, thank you, $10 million.
Zero chance I don't sell. He's crazy.
$10 million in 1930, or is it 1997?
Either way.
I'll
take the $10 million.
Either way.
I mean, he went into it originally thinking $600,000.
Yep.
Maybe I could make $800,000, and a guy offers you 10. No questions. Sold.
April shows up too. Ernie's greeting more guests, says Hakuna Matata, which is great because, Nathan Lane, Lion King, love that little wink there. Ernie finds out that there are raisins in the crepes.
Those aren't raisins.
No, they aren't raisins at all. Lars finds the box the mouse was in outside. The mouse is back.
Because that's also what they do. If a package is short postage, you just whip it in the snow outside the house. Sure. And I don't feel like they actually put their return address on there.
No, it didn't look like it.
No.
Still made it back.
Still made it back.
Finally, that auction starts, and the mouse is, in fact, back. Ernie and Lars can barely hold it together. It's a funny bit with Ernie at the podium. I love the gavel.
Yeah.
It's some great physical comedy from Nathan Lane. Absolutely love it. Knowing things are probably going to get very crazy, Ernie instructs the auctioneer to keep going no matter what happens.
The mouse ate the string. The son of a bitch ate it.
In a kid's movie. The bidding starts as Ernie and Lars look for that mouse. The mouse is in the hair of one of the hair models and then down her dress.
Yeah.
Lars goes for it.
Yeah.
He goes for it.
Kids movie.
And he gets it.
He gets it.
Transferring the mouse into his clothing, and he's writhing around like a madman. And Ernie reaches into Lars's pants.
Did you get it?
Did you get it? I'm not sure. That is hilarious. The looks on everybody's face are like, why is he reaching into Lars's pants?
Yeah.
Why? It looks like he's grabbing his wiener. And also the spool hair lady, as her hair is now on fire.
Yeah.
That's not good. Her hair is on fire for a very long time.
Very long time.
A very long time. The mouse, he escapes Lars's clothing finally, and the auction continues. It's up to $7 million.
And then $17 million in an instant.
Ernie and Lars try to flush the mouse out of the walls with water. Well, the spigot broke, so there's no stopping that water now. And the walls fill up with water all the way to the ceiling.
All the way to the ceiling.
All the way to the ceiling.
That is exactly how it works.
Oh, the auction escalates to $22 million, then $25 million. Just as the gavel is about to go down on $25 million, the walls give way, flushing everyone out the door.
Don't go. The water was just a demonstration of how durable the house really is. Now you know this house will last forever.
And the house collapses. Great timing on that effect.
Great.
That's a one-time chance to get that shot.
Gotta be.
And they did it perfectly. So
Yeah.
I love that. It was really great. There is no sale on the house. Ernie and Lars now have nothing except for their father's string. They must have gotten that mouse since the mouse ate it earlier on the podium. So they must have killed that mouse.
Yeah.
Dead mouse barfed up that string.
Barfed
right at
up
the
that
end.
string.
Not so fast. That mouse is under the car, holding onto the muffler. The very, very hot muffler. But that's okay.
Trained to do that.
Trained to do it.
He's
That's
trained
not,
to do
not CG. Ernie and Lars and the mouse are now all at the factory. So the mouse starts all the machinery while they're passed out. Well, Ernie and Lars are passed out at the desk after eating cheese and drinking wine, cheap wine, maybe. I don't remember.
I'm certainly not putting that past this mouse at this point.
Nope, not one bit. Not only that, but this mouse invents string cheese, spools of string cheese.
Yeah.
But it's still string cheese. I want to take a bite out of those string cheese balls
definitely.
like every time I see one.
Yeah.
For some reason, they did a really good job of conveying the fact that they were made of cheese.
Yeah.
Like, I totally believed that it was made of cheese. It wasn't like a
100%.
spray painted ball of twine.
Right.
It looked like cheese.
Yeah.
And I wanted to take a bite out of it.
Me too.
Take a bite out of it. And guess what now? Ernie and Lars work with the mouse. They're on top of the world with their string cheese. It's string. It's cheese. Roll credit. So according to the book, the Winston effect, special effect supervisor, and Stan Winston studio crew member Paul Mayhas would keep the mouse as a pet for 2 years until it peacefully passed away. It was given a burial in front of the main building of Stan Winston's main studio, where it remains today. So you can
Nice.
go visit his little grave if you want to.
Yeah.
I know I don't have to ask you this, Trav. Did you like it?
I love this movie. I can watch this endlessly all the time. Worked out perfect that it's around Christmas. 'Cause
Yes.
It starts out at
It
Christmas.
does. It does.
And I just enjoy watching a movie that you had never seen.
And I really like this movie a lot.
Yeah.
It is a great piece of 1997. It conveys everything that you want from a movie of this time period. It's funny. Nathan Lane is great in it.
So
Lee
Evans.
Evans is great in it. You said that he's in There's Something About Mary, which
Yep.
I've seen only a handful of times, and I don't recall him being. He plays a police officer in it. What is
No,
he?
he plays like he's a fake cripple trying
Yes.
to get
yes,
married.
Yes,
Like,
yes. And so I was very unknowing who Lee Evans actually was at all, and I love him in this movie. I'm surprised he wasn't in more films
Yeah.
in the 90s and early 2000s. And Christopher Walken really is a shining part of this movie. If you do watch those interviews, dear podcaster, that I'm going to link to on YouTube, he does say that his role was actually much larger in the film,
Really?
but they had to cut a bunch of it out to condense the time of the movie, I guess.
Man.
So more Walken would have been good, if you
Yeah.
ask me, but the amount of Walken we got was enough.
Yeah.
But still, more Walken would have been great in my
A little more
book.
walking would have been
But
nice.
it's just a great movie. It's a really good kids movie. It's a fun movie to watch with your family, and
Yep.
I can appreciate that. And I'm sad that I missed out on it until now.
Yeah.
1997, I would have been like 12, 13 years old. It would have
Yep.
been perfect.
Yep.
It would have been perfect. I wish I would have seen that movie back then. Absolutely great. Absolutely great. It's an A+. I'm gonna give it 5.5 Christopher Walkens out of 7.
I want to eat it.
So, Trav, with all that out of the way, let's transition over to our homework assignment.
Yeah, what is it?
We're doing Ren and Stimpy Season 2, Part 2.
Oh.
Part 2.
Part dip.
Part 2.
It's been a long time since we've done any Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, and I'm excited to get back to a TV assignment.
Me too.
That's for sure. We've been hitting you hard with these movies lately, and TV assignment's going to be fun to do.
Yep.
So we're going to be doing 4 episodes, and they include The Royal Canadian Kilted Yaxman, which is a classic, The Great Outdoors, The Cat and the Cat That Laid the Golden Hairball, Stimpy's Fan Club. So those 4 episodes, according to Paramount Plus, this is the order that they're on Paramount Plus. So get out there and watch those, because I can't wait to do this episode, Trav.
Those all sound familiar just by title.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I can picture scenes from each of them,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But just by the title. So, Trav, with that out of the way, why don't you hit me with that outro?
Ooh, we actually have a couple emails.
Say what?
So, 2 questions from this
Okay.
email. One is, did you ever collect ploids as
No.
a kid?
What is a ploid?
They were on bags of chips, like Frito-Lay chips, like by the barcode.
Okay.
And it would be, I think, like the little bags were like 2 ploids, and then bigger bags were up to, I don't know, 5, 10. You collect enough of them, and you turn them in for random ass shit.
So that seems like something that I would have done.
Yeah.
So it's kind of baffling me that I have no memory of ploids.
Yeah, I still remember saving up a bunch and buying this cheap-ass little purple, like, calculator type thing with all my ploids that my dad probably dropped $300 worth of Frito-Lay products for me to get this shitty-ass little calculator.
I can't believe I don't remember ploids, honestly.
Ploids.
I'm
Look it up.
disappointed in myself.
Look it up. Next question is, did you ever use any hair gel as a kid, and do you remember what it was?
I did not use hair gel in high school when it was all the rage.
Yep.
I didn't use that, but up until from like 4th until like 7th grade, I was a hairspray user because I had the side part with the swoop in the front.
Nice.
And I would hose that thing down with hairspray.
Hose her down.
Oh, man, it would be rock hard, and it would last all day.
Nice.
Oh, man. So,
That's
yes, hairspray, and it was whatever hairspray my mom had.
That's funny because I'm rewatching Stranger Things, and that's what Steve suggests to, I forget his name in the show, but Dustin, and he says he uses the Farrah Fawcett hairspray when your hair's damp, not wet, damp. That's funny. Yeah, I think I only used the gel because I had a friend who used it, so that was cool if I could use it too, but it was LA Looks.
LA Looks.
Like the most extreme hold possible. It would like make your hair like cement spikes. I don't know why I did it. It didn't look good. It was a waste of money.
Guarantee you my hair
but,
didn't look good either.
You do what you do when you're a kid. You
do it.
And then the last thing I got is just, a couple of questions for Drew, which we already talked about, Xmas gifts. I was going to ask what you got for Christmas. My other one is just, what are you watching lately?
So we recently started the Detroiters because it's now on Netflix, and it's got, oh man, what is his name? Tim? No, he was on SNL, and I can't think of his name right now. He was on SNL, and he also has that So I Think You Should Leave show on Netflix.
Okay.
The Detroiters is probably from getting on 10 years ago now, but it is very, very funny. It was originally on Comedy Central. It's now on Netflix, and we watched the first 5 or 6 episodes of the first season over the last couple of days, and it is hilarious.
Nice.
It is hilarious. For instance, he goes to a sign store to get a new sign made for their advertising company that they own, and the guy owning the sign store says, I don't do the words dick, pussy, shit, and a couple other words. And then Tim looks at him and goes, well, what if my name was Dick Pussy? And he's like, well, then I'd make any sign you'd want for Mr. Pussy. And so then he comes back with a poster, not to ruin the joke for you, but he comes back with a sign that says, Dick Pussy, professional shit kicker.
Nice.
I was like, that is hilarious.
That is nice.
Had me rolling last night. What about you?
So usually every week Lauren and I do, like, I pick 4 movies and then she picks from those 4 movies what movie we'll watch. Well, now we decided, like, we should get a little off the Survivor back burner because we started at season 1. We're in 36 of 47 right now. We've been cranking. But we had a lull in a season, so she suggested, let's start watching some shows again that are not Survivor. So we're kind of doing the same method. She's going to pick a few shows, and then I pick which one.
Sure.
And same. So she threw out Prison Break.
Okay.
I've never seen it, and it's amazing.
You like it?
I don't know if you've ever seen
Never
Prison
seen
Break.
it.
You should give it a shot.
Okay.
It's super good. Just the setting of Prison Break.
Sure.
You're kind of like on the edge of your seat a lot because they can always get busted or caught or whatever. But it's really good. There's a lot of actors from other shit in the early 2000s that you'll recognize that are in that show. Lori from Walking Dead is one of the main characters. But then it was my choice, and I picked True Blood or Stranger Things. Lauren picked Stranger Things.
Nice.
Which we've already seen that one before.
Mm-hmm.
But rewatching it is amazing because A, I love that show, and B, I had seen the show in its entirety before we started the podcast.
Whoa.
And they sing Never Ending Story.
Yes, they do.
And I love, like, it was cool the first time I saw it, but right away I'm thinking, man, this song slaps. And then it got to the lyrics that I recognized.
Turn around, look into your eyes. Something like that, at least. I love that song. That song does slap.
I love that. So I had a very extra appreciation for that part because
nice.
I love Stranger Things
Yes.
and I love Never Ending Story.
What's not to love?
What's not to love? But yeah, that's it for the email section. Thanks for actually sending us some emails today.
Heck yeah.
So make sure if you want to email us at podcast@overduehomework.com. And make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Overdue Homework Podcast. And as always, don't forget to tune in to the next exciting episode of the Overdue Homework Podcast.